there's no such thing as failure. You either miss or you learn. But the confidence, and I'm either Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan, my apologies, but the confidence of hitting that shot comes from taking 1,000 shots over and over again. So that one that you have to take, you're going to hit. But before those, 1,000 shots, you probably missed, you know, how many, what you missed 1,000 shots before that, before you made those 1,000 in a row, or those things. So it's the confidence of repetition, I find, weeds out to me that uh, that imposter syndrome, if you will, or that potentially that lack of confidence. It's just doing it over again and failing and failing and failing and readjusting and failing and readjusting and failing and readjusting until you get this recipe. Almost like if somebody puts some desserts together, you don't get it right on the first time. You got to try a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You give it a test run, and you're like, all right, that wasn't the mix. That's not the one. You readjust and you just keep going until like that. That's the one. And I find it's very interesting. I always, joke around. We joke around about like being Italian and stuff, and Nona, right? But there's something about a grandma who she's got to figure it out. She's been doing it for 60, 70 years, right? She's had so many trial and errors that she doesn't even know what the recipe is anymore. She's
This
just
is
got it so goddamn good. She doesn't even be like, doesn't even need to look. It's there, and it tastes better than anything you've ever had for whatever reason. But she's got it so cracked and she knows it's good too, right? You don't fuck around with Nona shit, right? She knows it. She knows that store bought stuff ain't as good, but she's just done it so long that that's what it is, and it just comes with time, I think, and learning yourself and being confident of like, yeah, this is right.
Yeah, not to go on a tangent about dessert, but my nonna has a book of recipes, and she's long since passed now, so she's passed this recipe book down to my family, and it's amazing reading this book sometimes because my mom will like try and bake some cookies or a cake or whatever that's in there, and it'll say in the recipe in Italian, it'll say quanto basta, which means however much it needs. So it'll be like, how much flour do you need to put in? And I'll say, however much it needs. And you're like, what do you
What does it mean?
mean?
What do you mean? What does that mean?
How am I supposed to know that? But it's because she did it so
So
many
often.
times that she just had the eye for it or the feel for it or whatever. And
Yeah,
it's that ability to fail and keep getting up and keep trying it and keep tweaking
absolutely.
the recipe that leads ultimately to success. And
The same thing in business and writing, right? Where like when is your script done? Right? When is this thing the thing? You're like, well, however much it needs. So you might have to give it to this. You might business, writing changing our programs and that kind of stuff. And it's like, well, what does it need? Well, I don't know. It needs what it needs, and it needs whatever it needs. So I'm gonna, do this thing until I know exactly what it needs, and then you have this thing. And other people, what's funny, when you're reading this and reading the system, they don't get it until they get it, and then you find that recipe and it sticks. And I think for myself, at least, I see that with Sam and Jordan, who like there's other members who just don't know what it takes, and then there's Sam and Jordan who figured out the recipe, right? And they're all in. Like they're all in. They're doing this thing, and it's yeah, you get it's that's life in a nutshell. It's just it takes what it takes, and you got to go through that to figure that out. But it takes that you know that attitude of that Iron Man attitude is I'm going to figure it out. And yeah, it's massive. If life had a recipe book, it'd be an interesting one.
yeah, for sure. I think that too, part of it is like people are afraid to fail because of what it says about their personality or about their persona publicly. And I don't know if this is a quote. I probably didn't invent this. I'm sure I stole it from someone, but this idea of it being more dangerous to succeed at a thing that you don't actually want to do because you can succeed. Like if you were crushing it in finance, like you could have just easily got stuck in that world because
Absolutely.
it just became comfortable and you had a paycheck and you moved up and now all of a sudden you're taking on more responsibility and you just get stuck in that world. And so I wonder,
Absolutely.
do you have any advice for someone who is in that spot where they're like, I'm in a comfy job where I'm paying the bills, but it's not like speaking to my soul. What advice would you give to them?
Take the leap. That's the biggest thing is take the leap. There is no advice. Do it. It's as simple as that. Because you can always go back to whatever that thing you're doing, but you only get one shot at this. I'm only going to be 25, 30 years old, being able to take this, this risk for so long. It's going to get to a point where I'm going to be 60 and I'm not going to be able to do this thing anymore. But if I ever needed to go back to Walmart or finance, I can, get my degree and go back to it if needed. So I think the biggest thing is just there's only one life, there's only one chance. You only get one shot at this. Go for it. And again, if it doesn't work out, because 80% of all gyms fail. So there's, as we mentioned, kind of, being close to restaurants, it's a risk. But I'd rather know that I failed trying than never have tried at all. And that's kind of my view. So it's just, again, take the risk, give it a shot, because worst case scenario, you can just go back. There's always a job, there's always a thing you can go back to.